Hello, everybody. Here's coming up tonight on News Center Now.
It's going to be emotional for a long, long, long time.
Signs of grief and mourning for Corporal Cole line the streets of Norwich Walk.
Change not only the laws, but the culture.
She buried her son after he was killed in the line of duty. Now she says we all need to make a change to prevent more deaths.
I thought my dad loved me, but I guess not.
Trying to reconcile the father you love with the addict who overdosed.
This is News Center Now.
While his accused killer awaits trial, Corporal Cole's friends and family can focus on saying goodbye to a respected deputy. Good evening, everybody. I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. Corporal Eugene Cole, Gene to his close friends, was shot and killed almost a week ago now. But the days-long manhunt put the grieving process on hold for so many.
Christina Rex is at a memorial in Norwich Walk. Christina, very different feeling today in Somerset County.
Yeah, Lee and Lindsay, John Williams is behind bars and this community is safe, but they're grieving. You can see this memorial here behind me. We spoke to a fellow Somerset County Sheriff's deputy who actually worked with Corporal Cole, and he's struggling to get through the workday with the emotions running high right now.
Something you're never going to forget, and you'll never forget the emotions that people are having right now.
Deputy Mike Cray hung a flag outside of the Somerset County Courthouse, a black and white American flag with a blue stripe representing respect for police officers. He says he and Corporal Cole connected because they're the same age, and they were able to talk about how different the law enforcement industry has changed in recent years. The deputy says all officers fear for their safety, but Corporal Cole faced that fear and did his job. He says Eugene Cole was special because he always treated everyone with respect, whether that was a coworker or someone he was arresting. That's why the deputy hung this flag outside the courthouse to remind everyone of the special officer they lost.
It's pretty emotional. It means a lot just because of what the blue and the stuff represents, but it also is very hard because of where it's at on that flagpole at half-staff. And for that reason being that someone that you worked with and cared for has lost their life. So, yeah, it's tough.
This memorial's been growing all day. We've seen at least 10 people here since we've been here. You can see people are leaving notes on this canvas, and actually inside of this bag, in this bucket here, blue ribbons. People are taking these and wearing them to pay respect to the officer they lost. Live in Norwich Walk, Christina Rex, Lee and Lindsay, back to you.
All right, Christina, thank you. So there are many ways that people are honoring Corporal Cole all over Somerset County, including those black and blue ribbons. Christina just showed you what they look like, but these are in a location that's pertinent to the case, the place where police say John Williams ditched Corporal Cole's stolen cruiser.
Chris Costa is live in Norwich Walk. Chris, the details are slowly coming out about that.
Yeah, Lee and Lindsay, right over there down on Mercer Road is where police say they found Corporal Cole's body at one of Williams's former addresses. The police affidavit says that about 3 miles from here is where they found the cruiser. The people who live there say they also know John Williams.
He was a friend of mine from back in high school. Like I said, we've worked on his mother's vehicle.
Rick Austin wonders why a Somerset County Sheriff's deputy cruiser ended up in his backyard.
I didn't think the truck was going to be parked in my dooryard.
Tracks marking his lawn on Martin Stream Road.
He must have did it in a hurry, for sure.
Zipped in here with it is what we're thinking. Yeah. I don't know why he would have ever in a million years brought that here.
Rick and his wife Barbara say a friend warned them that John admitted to killing a deputy, so they left their home for the night.
I was scared to death. It took me forever to come back here.
Police say a man named Chris Williams picked John up somewhere on Martin Stream Road. Rick and Barbara say he picked John up from their front yard. Police told them this is also the last place Corporal Cole's phone pinged, all pieces to a larger puzzle about the deputy's murder.
Not in a million years in this little town.
Rick knew Corporal Cole. He had a few run-ins with the law.
He was always very respectful, and I'd see him at the store or something. He'd, Richard.
Where that crucial piece of evidence once sat, now blue ribbons, marking a place of divide, respect for their deputy, and concern about Williams, whose life they say recently took a drastic turn.
When I first met John, he was clean-cut, preppy boy, nothing like he is now.
You could tell there was a change in him, a significant change for sure.
Now, Rick and Barbara say that they noticed that change in just the past couple of months. We still don't know exactly where Williams allegedly shot Corporal Cole, but they do know they found his body at a home just down that way. Governor LePage did announce this afternoon, though, that they have lifted the hunting ban in the area now that the manhunt is over. Lee and Lindsay.
All right, Chris Costa, live in Norwich Walk. Thank you. Today, another law enforcement officer laid to rest. Officer Rogelio Santador of the Dallas Police Department was killed while confronting a shoplifter at a Home Depot. Law enforcement from all over the country went down and attended the service. Now, here in New England, 2 officers were killed on the job in less than 2 weeks.
Now, the mother of one of those officers and the chief of his department want change. Chief Frank Frederickson of the Yarmouth, Massachusetts Police Department says the court system failed to protect Officer Sean Gannon and Corporal Eugene Cole.
If we are not protected, how do you think that makes the average citizen feel?
Chief Frank Frederickson of the Yarmouth, Massachusetts Police Department says he is furious after learning 29-year-old John Williams, charged with murder for the death of Corporal Eugene Cole, was freed on reduced bail by a Massachusetts judge.
The bottom line is that was a dangerous person that should be segregated from society to protect the public and protect police officers who protect the public.
Chief Frederickson had to bury his own officer.
I do think of all of my officers as my kids.
Not long before the death of Corporal Cole, Thomas Latanowicz, also 29 years old, was charged in the death of Officer Sean Gannon. Latanowicz has a lengthy rap sheet.
Most of the judges I know are high-quality people, but the culture in which our system works under allows for too much leniency on the worst criminals.
In Massachusetts, judges are told to set bail at a price defendants can afford. Superior Court Judge Timothy Q. Feely reduced Williams' bail last month from $7,500 to $5,000 after his arrest on a felony firearm charge.
You can do everything right, but that one thing goes wrong with someone with an intent. It can end very tragically.
And being prepared for bad situations starts with equipping officers to protect themselves.
We hear from politicians how they'll do anything they can to help. Well, the federal government cut the bulletproof vest program for police officers. Does that make any sense?
Officer Sean Gannon's mom says that's only part of the problem.
Sean's story, who was built on a firm foundation of family and love and faith, his murderer, who had no foundation. His foundation was on sand.
She says lawmakers across New England need to fix what she calls a horrific nightmare.
Change not only the laws, but the culture. It starts with family. It absolutely starts with family.
In the case of Officer Gannon's accused killer, Thomas Latanowicz pleaded not guilty. He is due back in court in June. As for John Williams, his next court date has yet to be determined.
It's a heartbreaking story today. The parents of the brothers swept into the Androscoggin River last week spoke about the horror that they've been living through. 5-year-old Valerio McFarland is still missing. The parents say 10-year-old Maxim's survival is nothing short of a miracle.
When he was still intubated, he asked me, even though he couldn't talk, he mouthed me his brother's name, asking where he was.
Oh, they were 2 peas in a pod. I mean, oh my God. They acted like boys do. They acted like kids.
The McFarlands are asking for help to find Valerio's body so they can give him a proper burial. They're also proposing changes be made along the riverfront so that this doesn't happen to any other families. We'll have much more on this coming up on News Center at 5:30 and at 6 o'clock.
Still to come on Now. Was that hate speech all over your Facebook feed? Probably not. All about that weird glitch coming up.
And this little leaguer will slide into home when he's good and ready. The slow-mo kid is winning laughs everywhere.
When they're rebellious at that age, you know you have to worry when they're going to be in their teenage years. When this little leaguer was told to run home as fast as he could, he got a bit sassy and went total slow-mo. This video has been shared thousands of times.
If you're still Team Facebook and you were scrolling through this morning, you may have noticed an odd question tacked onto every post. Now, it started around 11 this morning, according to Business Insider, but take a look at this screenshot. The question, does this post contain hate speech? Others noticed and took to Twitter. I mean, this is a post about having compassion and showing love to others, and it was being flagged. Business Insider reports this was a glitch. Facebook told the website it was an internal test they're working on to, quote, understand different types of speech, including speech they thought would not be hate. And it wasn't meant to launch publicly, so this could point to a new feature. And today, Facebook had its F8 developer conference in San Jose, where it also announced a new dating feature. So if you're one of the 200 million single people on Facebook and have no problem giving out even more information to match up with a potential life partner, this is for you. It'll be an opt-in feature that won't match users with their friends, but with people interested in similar events and groups. After Zuckerberg announced the dating feature, stocks for the company that owns Tinder and other dating apps dropped 15%. Lee and Lindsay.
All right, Katie, thanks so much. Still to come on Now.
He died from an overdose.
A Maine girl is sharing her personal story of the opioid epidemic and how it changed her life forever.
And while we have some warm weather on the way, rain in the forecast could mean problems for the county. We'll tell you all about that coming up next. One July day back in 2015, a drug-addicted father overdosed. He was one of 272 people who died in the state that year, but there's far more behind that number.
For every person who died, there's someone who called them a child, a grandchild, a sibling, or a parent. And so often we forget about the youngest victims of the opioid crisis, the children who are left behind by parents who die.
While it has definitely taken some time, one Maine girl is revealing her confusion, her anger, her sadness surrounding the death of her father and how she was able to cope at the age of 9.
A sunny day off from school at Black Mountain in Rumford.
Hey Ben, I'm going up with you.
This group of friends is so eager to ski.
Wait, I'm going up with you, Sky.
They are still getting their gear on as they race to the lift. They may call each other annoying, but
good job, Sky.
This is one loyal group.
Wait, don't put it down yet. Closer. Oh my God. Okay, we're going. Yeah, let's get this footage.
When one in the pack needs help,
this is gonna take us a while.
They all come to the rescue.
I'm taking off my skis.
And at one point,
thank you.
One of these 5th graders really needed that kind of support.
He died from an overdose.
As it turns out, 11-year-old Sky Mills lost her dad 2 years ago. Soon after, her mother sought to support her in many ways.
My mom set me up with like a bunch of different counselors, but But
she didn't want to discuss her dad or what had happened.
Like honestly, I didn't really like it that much because, I don't know, I'm kind of weird about just talking about things like that to a stranger, I guess.
Bottled up inside, she had so many questions and so many emotions. Until one day, a class assignment changed everything.
I don't know about you, but it's not always easy knowing that your dad died of a drug overdose. Just kill me now, right? I thought my dad loved me, but I guess not.
Once Sky started typing a letter to herself, she found the words she'd been looking for so long.
I remember when you used to sit in your bedroom all by yourself with the door locked. I always wondered what you did in there, but now I put the puzzle pieces together and I know now.
A letter she knew her father would never read.
I have a necklace with your thumbprint on it. I hope you know that no one can explain how much I miss you.
Sky is not alone.
Over the last 4 years, the number of calls that we've taken for overdose loss has quadrupled.
Rebecca Dickens is the Assistant Program Director for Bereavement Services at the Center for Grieving Children in Portland and Sanford. She says in the last year alone, 14% of the calls the center received were for families who lost a loved one to an overdose.
We encourage families to be honest. to tell the truth, to let their kids be part of the process.
When talking about loss with children, Diggins recommends using simple language, especially with young kids.
Use the word overdose to explain to them that that means that that person took too much medication that made their body stop working.
She also says it's okay to use the words dead, death, or died.
It helps kids to be able to understand and to process. If you use words like we lost this person or they passed on, kids oftentimes don't know what that means. It could be confusing to them. They might think, well, if they're lost, let's go find them.
After that class assignment, Sky broke her silence, asking her mom all her questions, ready for honest answers in return.
I know whoever is reading this is probably like, this girl is just talking about every negative and bad thing that's happened to her and probably just wants to make people feel bad. Well, I'm not.
Her teacher sent that letter to the local paper where it was printed anonymously. For the first time, Sky wants to put her name to her powerful words.
If you want to hear how I feel and see things from my point of view, here it is.
The point of view everyone in this group loves
It's upside down.
is from the top of their favorite mountain.
No, just turn it. Oh my God.
Where Sky can enjoy being a kid in Maine, facing the unknown trail ahead, hand in hand, and having each other's backs.
Now, Sky hopes her letter helps others going through similar experiences, no matter their age. The Center for Grieving Children says dealing with a loved one's death from overdose or suicide can be different from other types of loss. And for more on that, visit the Now section on our website or mobile app.
If you live in the county, you better get ready for some possible flooding. That's according to the National Weather Service in Caribou. Watch out. These pictures were taken near Fort Kent, showing overflow from the Fish River. The National Weather Service says flooding could continue through the week. So, Mr. Carson, what say you?
It's that kind of mud season, kind of flooding season. Well, we don't have a ton of rain coming. We do have 2 warm days and then a nice weekend. So hopefully you can live with that. And I think you'll be happy about it. Today actually turned out pretty nice as well. 60 officially in Portland, 63 in Augusta. We had an upper level low over us yesterday and today. Neither day was that bad, but today really turned out quite nice. You can see just a little thin line of showers moving through Greenville, might clip Bangor in the next couple of hours, but the vast majority of the state, spatially, 95% of the state, is dry and will remain dry here through the rest of today. Here's a look at the satellite. You can see that upper level low swinging away. I think it's really interesting how through the morning hours we had some clouds, but as the winds turned out of the west-northwest, now they started going downhill. That's a drying wind direction. Watch these clouds evaporate here through the afternoon. So the best part of the day is actually now until sunset with the most sunshine going on. Temperatures stay in the 50s and low 60s. Tonight, some clouds and isolated shower. Tomorrow, we start right around 60 degrees along the coastline, upper 50s inland. Look at Wednesday. This is 8 o'clock, 66 in Freiburg. So you can see where we're going from there. Off to the races. Big warm up here. Temperatures in the 80s in a lot of spots. The exception being down East Maine, which will probably stay right around 70 degrees with the ocean influence there. A couple of showers overnight across Aroostook County on Wednesday night. And then Thursday is another mild day. There will be more showers around, though, particularly during the afternoon, and maybe even a rumble of thunder later in the day on Thursday as temperatures drive into the 70s. So here's what we're thinking for highs tomorrow. 80s in a lot of spots. 80 in Portland, 84 in Lewiston, 82 in Bangor, again right around 70 in Bar Harbor, Rockland up into Lubec. Thursday is cooler over northern Maine, still warm though over southern Maine with those showers and thunderstorms. And overall, I like the pattern that we're looking at going forward. You want to stay in the green here. That's true with the bank account and in the weather map. And we're going to stay there really for the next 10 days at least. So we're going to be on the warm side of things. Temperature trend here playing on the right side of the field. Average high is 59. We never dip below that all the way through next Tuesday. Clearly, tomorrow is the warmest day, but a lot of the days here, guys, in the 60s. And the weekend, 70, 65, all good stuff. all good stuff.
I've been getting into a pattern where, you know, I need the heat in the car in the morning and then the air conditioning in the afternoon. Tomorrow, forget that heat in the morning.
Should not need the heat for the next couple
no
days.
Heat necessary. Yeah. It will be self-provided. Yep. Just have to look out for that. All right, thank you, sir. So yeah, we're inching closer to summer, but that doesn't mean you have to put the scraper away. William sent in today's That's So Maine moment. He says, frost this morning, 80 tomorrow. Sounds about right.
Remember to send us your That's So Maine moments by posting to our Facebook page or using the hashtag That's So Maine on any social media platform, including sending this guy a Snapchat. And if your submission didn't make it today, don't worry, we will get to it later on this week.
We're going to get to what's coming up on News Center at 5:30 right now. Cindy Williams has a look at that. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. The Lobster Festival Parade is a yearly tradition, but 2018 is going to look a little different. What will be missing from the festival? We'll tell you straight ahead. Also ahead, the so-called caravan of migrants seeking asylum at the U.S. border. Will they be let into the country? Those stories and much more coming up at 5:30. Back to you.
Cindy, thanks so much. Brain drops when we come back.
Once in a while, headlines overlap with brain drops. And today was a really interesting one. So scientists at the University of Science and Technology in China have come out with this report, and this was the 27th of April, that basically says that they figured out that the mountain above North Korea's main nuclear test site has collapsed due to impacts from their previous tests. There were a couple of earthquake aftershocks that were created here, and so they believe that they've rendered it unusable now, and they have satellite images of some of this sinking substance of the mountain because of these big nuclear weapons. Now, keep in mind, this makes sense. Their last test was very close to the bomb size we dropped on Hiroshima, and they're detonating them just inside of the mountain. And so this may shed some light on their sudden willingness to not be testing nuclear weapons at this point. So they don't know for sure because, of course, they're not letting anybody in there. But there were two different reports. They are peer-reviewed, and they're going to publish them. So it seems as though it is a distinct possibility that they're on timeout because of Mother Nature and what happened here.
So a little less, good gesture and more, we kind of blew ourselves up here a little bit.
Maybe it all works out. Maybe it gets them to the table and good things come from that. But it appears there might be another reason that they're willing to take a little time out. And it turns out the Earth doesn't like it when you blow up huge bombs on the surface of the planet. So things kind of come back to you. We did it in the Desert Southwest years ago. Not a great thing to do to the planet by any nation, as it turns out.
So we got a news, we got science, and we got a little history lesson. Thanks, Keith.
All right, we also have News Center 5:30 coming up right now.